Good morning, my all dear class 11th students. As in this chapter of account, we will discuss provisions and reserves. So, before starting anything, let me introduce you to the benefits and reasons for making provisions and reserves. In order to strengthen the financial position of the business and with the view to meeting all uh, eventualities, both expected and unexpected, it is desirable that the entire profit should not be distributed among their owners. Some portion of the profit should be kept in the business for meeting the known as well as unknown liabilities in future. This is done by making provisions and creating reserve out of current year's profit at the time of preparation of final account. As we all know that future cannot be decided. Future cannot be decided. You don't know what will be what will happen in what will be happening tomorrow. What will happen in tomorrow? You don't know that. You cannot justify that. So there will be some uncertainties. And to meet those uncertainties, we should not spend our all the profit. We should not distribute our all the profit to our partners as well as owners. We should save some part of profit for future expenses. Okay, so we will take some part of profit and we will save it for future, and that is called provisions and reserves. But provisions and reserves are not similar terms. There is a huge difference between provisions and reserves. We will discuss the differences between provisions and reserves in this chapter. So, first of all, let me tell you that what provision is. According to Companies Act, the term provision refers to any of the following: the amount written off or retained by way of providing for depreciation, renewals, or diminutions in value of asset. The amount retained by way of providing for any type of known liability. See the term known liability, of which the amount cannot be determined with substantial accuracy. It should be clearly understood that if the amount of the known liability can be determined with reasonable accuracy, it must be classified as an outright liability and not a provision. Also, if any excess provision is made knowingly or intentionally, the amount of excess of the actual need will be treated as reserve. Okay. Examples of provision for depreciation, provision for taxation, provision for bad debt, discount on debtors, repairs, and etc. Means there are some known liabilities. You can say that that there will be some debtor who will not pay the money. Depreciation of assets is must. So these are the known things, and for collecting the money for known things are called provisions. So characteristics of provision: provision is made to meet a known liability. The liability is known, but the amount of such liability cannot be. Liability is known, but exact amount cannot be determined. Okay. Last, provision is charged against profit, as such reduce the profit of the year in which it is created. The loss, when actually occurs, will be written off against such provision. If there will be loss in any year, that provision will be treated and that loss will be recovered from that provisions. Okay. Now let's come to the reserve. Reserve means amount set aside out of profit and other surpluses to meet future uncertainties. In other words, a reserve is meant for meeting any unknown liability or loss in the future. According to William Pickles, reserve means the amount set aside out of profit and other surpluses which are not earmarked in any way to meet any particular liability known to exist on the date of the balance sheet Okay, so reserve is that amount which will be set aside from the profit for unknown liabilities. Okay, this amount will not be justified for any single liability, and it will not be related to any single liability. Any type of unknown liabilities can be covered from the reserve. Okay, example of reserve: general reserve, capital reserve, dividend equalization fund, investment fluctuation fund, workman compensation fund, etc. Okay. Okay. Characteristics of reserves. Characteristics of reserves. It is created out of net profit or divisible profit. As such, the reserve are also treated as retained earnings and undistributed profit. Creation of reserve is not legal necessity. Provision is legal necessity and reserve is not legal necessity. So these are the some characteristics of reserves. And now we will discuss the differences between provisions and reserves, and our this chapter will be completed. So differences between provisions and reserves, meaning it is created to meet a known liability and reserve is created to meet an unknown liability. Necessity: creation of provision is a legal necessity. Okay, but creation of reserve is discretionary, means it is not completely necessary and to create a reserve, but it should be created, but reserve should be created. Objects. The object to provide for depreciation. Object is to strengthen the financial position of the business. Mode of creation: from PL, and it will be from PL appropriation. Means provisions will be created from profit and loss, and reserves will be created from profit and loss appropriation. Okay. Investment outside the business. Provisions are never invested outside the business, but reserves may be invested outside the business. So these are the some differences between reserve and provisions. Now we will discuss the types of reserve. Simply, there are two types: revenue reserve and capital reserve. In revenue reserve, there will be general reserve and specific reserve. General reserve is will be used in any type of liability, and the specific reserve will be defined that it will be used only in particular liability. So this is it for the chapter. This is it for the chapter. If you have any doubt and any query, you can ask. And let me simply give you the revenue reserve and capital reserve. It is also very important. I will just marking it: capital reserve and revenue reserve, and meaning of capital reserve. It is also very important for this chapter. Okay, so this is it for the chapter, and if you have any doubt and any query, you can ask. And now you have to learn this chapter completely and ask the queries. We will be there to help you out in all your needs. Till then, bye bye, student. We will meet you in the next video with a new topic. Till then, bye.